There we go. Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday night here at the BTA Network, and it's time for our political catch up. Now, we couldn't do it last week because I'm not going to lie, I was not feeling good last week, so I do apologize for that.
Right. And I was just kind of like, because it just wasn't worth it. But this week we do have an important topic.
Yes, we
Um,
do. Oh, I forgot to do something. Introduce ourselves. I am Oddball Extreme, and to my left is our master and creator Frodo,
yep.
and Sadras
And it
in the
was
chat room.
yep. It was my idea to bring this episode to life. So yeah. Anyway, to get down to brass tacks really quick. Trump has been doing a lot of illegal things this last couple of weeks,
Yeah.
including but not limited to sending American citizens to El Salvador's notoriously horrible prison, where if you actually look at the prison on fucking on a fucking satellite, you can see a huge blood spot on the cement.
Ooh.
And when I say huge, I'm talking like 2 to 4 people had to have died in a very grisly way to produce that blood spot. Minimally.
Man,
So,
just the thought of that's making my skin crawl already. Ugh.
yeah. Needless to say, I don't know. I I really don't know. We've got a lot of shit going on. Everything in this country is going down the shithole because of it. Um, Trump is also vi- violating a Supreme Court order to bring an American citizen who was sent to El Salvador back because he says he doesn't have to follow the Supreme Court. Bullshit, motherfucker. Okay, anyway, but what we really need to discuss this week is something major that has been rumored, and we don't know for sure if it's going to happen.
It looks like the changes.
But um on I want you guys to really pay attention to this weekend. Um there's a chance that we may go under martial law, specifically on the 3rd-month anniversary of his uh inauguration. Okay, that would be this Sunday, the Easter Sunday the 20th. So watch the news and be ready. If if they if Trump does issue martial law orders, this show can be put in severe risk. However, I'm going to say one thing right now. We, as a show, will not go off the air unless we're all taken to prison. I won't. Will you, Shirley?
Nope.
Because we have First Amendment right to speak our minds.
And on top of that, we do this show only once a week. So everything else, yeah. Of course, the people I'm most concerned about are the guys who do it every day. You know, like was it Jesse Dollamore, Farron Cousins, Brian Tyler Cohen, which I follow all three. So
Yeah.
David Pac-Man, forgot about him.
But yeah, I'm just saying we don't do it as often, so we may not be targeted.
Mm-hmm.
But as it speaks, as we speak, right now, the man who got wrongfully deported and like our in our state, we have a senator who likes to do his 99 county tour. And in one of his little 99 county tour stops, he was yelling. The senator was getting screamed at by representatives of my state, basically saying, Trump has already said he's not going to listen to the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
So why aren't you guys doing your damn job and getting rid of this fuckface? Because I'm sorry, but he needs to... Last time he was in office, he committed a lot of crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And he should have been impeached and removed.
Yep.
However, he never was.
Nope.
This time, if it's possible, his crimes are worse than last time. And I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned right now, we should bring back a form of punishment that a lot of people don't remember. But for him, I think it might be reasonable.
Really? No school shooting?
Yep, another school shooting.
Oh, really? Where was this?
Dallas, Texas.
Oh.
Yep. But anyway, yeah, it does me too, honey. But needless to say, he's basically already said the Supreme Court holds nothing over me because I'm the president and I could say what I want.
He's totally forgotten that the judicial branch overrides the executive branch.
Well, all the branches are equal.
Yeah.
Have equal power to check everyone.
Mm-hmm.
According to Trump.
Nope, my wife is right. Not according to Trump, but it is true.
Yeah.
This presidency in the first 3 months has already proved just how bad can get in this country.
Yeah.
We've got thousands of people who bought Trump's bullshit hook, line, and sinker. Or maybe I should say millions. And
that's because he didn't terrible.
And those millions of people that bought Trump's bullshit hook, line, and sinker are the reason why we're in this trouble. And I'm going to apologize to anyone whom I may offend. But at this point, I don't give a shit. If you voted for that maniac, you are a racist. That's as simple as I'm going to put it.
Yeah, because
you, I don't care what you think about yourself. The fact that you support this man tells me and a lot of people in America that you don't care, that you don't give a shit about humans. I'm sorry if what I say offends you, but the fact is there was a exec EO put out by Trump that basically codified, well, not codified, but legalized segregation again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but if you voted for him, you have already proven yourself to me to be exactly what this country doesn't need.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you think about my opinion, because that's exactly what it is. It's an opinion. Trust me, I have family who are Trump fans. I've literally had debates with them, and I do not regret for 1 second those debates. Why? Because it needs to be said. It needs to be put out there. Do I think that the immigration system is janky as hell and needs a rework? Abso-fucking-lutely. Okay? However, that does not mean sending fucking American citizens, people who have legal status and everything else, out to fucking El Salvador, to the most bloody fucking prison I've ever seen, and try and justify it as national security. No, national security is using a U.S. prison or detention center and not some fucking dictator's prison for them to be lost in. Fuck that. So, my problem isn't so much that people are wanting better control over immigration, legal and illegal.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is that there's no fucking due process in this.
Mm-hmm.
None of these people are getting due process. They're just getting taken off the streets, stripped of their fucking rights, and shoved on planes in the middle of the fucking night and sent to prison in El Salvador, where a fucking dictator with a fucking big head decides what goes on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry if you think my opinion is wrong.
All right. Now, what I've done is I've got two things. One, now this both have to do with this guy, Abrego Garcia. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, this is what CNN, this is from yesterday. Okay. What to know about Abrego Garcia's deportation case? His White House and Bukele make clear he won't be returned to the U.S. So here's what's going on. A Maryland man's efforts to return to the U.S. after being mistakenly deported to El Salvador last month hit a major new roadblock on Monday, when the country's president vowed to keep the father of three locked in a notorious mega prison. The comments from Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele mark a key turning point in the legal saga over Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, who has become a political pawn in the Trump administration's quest to dramatically expand the power of the presidency over immigration matters as President Trump pursues a deportation campaign. During a meeting with Trump in the Oval Office, Bukele told reporters that while he has the power to release Abrego Garcia, his administration isn't very fond of releasing terrorists being detained in his country. U.S. officials have alleged that Abrego Garcia is a member of the MS-13 gang, which the Trump administration has designated as a foreign terrorist organization. His attorneys, however, dispute the claim, and at least one federal judge has voiced skepticism toward it. So here's what they know so far. Abrego Garcia, a Salvadoran national, entered the U.S. illegally sometime around 2011, but an immigration judge in 2019, after reviewing evidence, withheld his removal. That meant he could not be deported to El Salvador, but could be deported to another country. A gang in his native country, the immigration judge found, had been targeting him and threatening him with death because of his family's pupusa business. U.S. officials arrested Abrego Garcia on March 12th and placed him on one of 3 planes bound for El Salvador days later. The administration alleges that he was arrested in the company of other ranking gang members and that he was confirmed to be a member of MS-13 by a, quote, reliable source, end quote. Abrego Garcia was later identified by his wife in a photo of detainees entering intake at El Salvador's notorious mega prison known as, I guess it's CECOT, C-E-C-O-T. So
Yeah, and that is Centro de Controlamiento de Terrorismo.
okay. Thank you. That's a mouthful.
Sorry, yeah, it is, but
What?
basically it just means Center for Detainment, Center for Confinement of People Accused of Terrorism.
All right. So, how the federal courts responded. Late last month, Abrego Garcia and his family sued various Trump administration officials to secure his return to the U.S. District Judge Paula Zinnes, an appointee of former President Barack Obama, said his removal to El Salvador was an illegal act and ordered the government to facilitate his return to the U.S. by 11:59 p.m. on March 31st. Of course, that didn't happen. After appeals, the Supreme Court put Zinnes' deadline on hold and later backed her directive without setting a new deadline for when Abrego Garcia should be returned, saying instead that the district court judge's edict was unclear and needed clarification. The judge's order, the High Court said, properly requires the government to facilitate Abrego Garcia's release from custody in El Salvador and to ensure that his case is handled as it would have been had he not been properly sent to El Salvador. Importantly, the Supreme Court noted that the clarification needed to be made with due regard for the deference owed to the executive branch in the conduct of foreign affairs. No justice has publicly dissented from the court's order, but its 3 liberal members wrote separately to criticize the administration's actions in the case. Now, after the case landed back before Zinnes, the judge issued a new order for the administration to take all available steps to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return. She directed it to provide her with a sworn statement from an individual with personal knowledge of the steps the government has taken or is planning to take to secure his return. Pardon me just a second while I take some water. As I get thirsty.
Basically, the Supreme Court said, get this man back in this country now, as soon as humanly possible, because you fucked up.
Yep. Okay. The administration failed to submit the declaration, leading the judge to require the government to provide daily the same information each day so she can keep close tabs on how the administration is following her order. Sunday night, Justice Department attorneys insisted that the government is not required to work with officials in El Salvador to secure Abrego Garcia's return, arguing that they understand facilitate means working to remove any domestic obstacles that may stand in the way of his return. The federal courts have no authority to direct the executive branch to conduct foreign relations in a particular way or engage with a foreign sovereign in a given manner, the DOJ attorneys wrote in a 7-page filing. And as part of that day's update to Zinnes, a senior immigration and customs enforcement official said in a sworn statement that Abrego Garcia is no longer eligible for withholding of removal because of the administration's claim that he's a member of the MS-13 gang. The assertion by Evan Katz, an official with ICE's enforcement and removal operations, means that if Abrego Garcia were brought back to the U.S., the government would work quickly to deport him. I know the hearing on the case was set for today. Trump has shifted his stance on Abrego Garcia in recent days after initially saying he would abide by the Supreme Court's decision. If the Supreme Court said bring somebody back, I would do that. I respect the Supreme Court, Trump told reporters last week. But, pressed by CNN's Caitlin Collins on those previous comments, the president on Monday did not answer the question, instead turning to members of his administration, including Attorney General Pam Bondi, Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, to underscore the administration's argument that the U.S. doesn't have the power to return Abrego Garcia. That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled that if El Salvador wants to return him, we will facilitate it, meaning provide a plane, Bondi said. Minutes later, Bukele weighed in. I don't have the power to return him to the United States, he said, prompting a reporter to ask whether he would release Abrigo Garcia into El Salvador. You want us to go back to releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? Bukele said. That's not going to happen. Now, that's the end of that. But now I'm going to go in the other direction here because I got something here from the Department of Homeland Security. All right?
Go ahead.
All right, so DHS sets the record straight about Kilmore Abrego Garcia. And this is also yesterday. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem set the record straight about Kilmore Abrego Garcia in the light of misleading mainstream media reports. This was just one of those examples of an individual that is an MS-13 gang member, multiple charges and encounters with the individuals here, trafficking in his background, was found with other MS-13 gang members, very dangerous person, and what the liberal left and fake news are doing to him, turn him into a media darling is sickening, she said. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller also highlighted the president's authority to deport Abrego Garcia today from the Oval Office. The Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful and its main components were unlawful and reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither the Secretary of State or President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador who, again, is a member of MS-13, which, as I'm sure you understand, rapes little girls, murders women, murders children, is engaged in barbaric activities around the world. And I can promise you that if he was your neighbor, you would move right away. In addition, DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, reaffirmed that this MS-13 terrorist gang member is where he belongs. I think this illegal alien is exactly where he belongs, home in El Salvador. He was in our country illegally, he is from El Salvador, was born in El Salvador, and the media forgot to mention, he is an MS-13 gang member. The media would love for you to believe that this is a media darling, that he is just a Maryland father. Osama bin Laden was also a father, and yet he was not a good guy. And they actually are both terrorists. He should be in this El Salvador prison, a prison for terrorists, and I hope he will remain there. And that's the end of that.
Okay, so 2 things. Number 1, how could he be an MS-13 member, first off, and not have any tattoos? Here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize this, and I only know this because I've done studies on different gangs. And admittedly, the one other gang that they talk about as being a terrorist gang doesn't have any markings on their bodies. But MS-13 requires members to have markings. Savanio 13, which is what they're called actually, is Savanio, is required to have tattoos to represent their gang allegiance. If this man didn't have any gang tattoos, first off, why the hell are you accusing him of this? Second off, his wife stated with him that they left El Salvador because they were being threatened
by a gang.
By Savanio 13. The problem is, if you're being threatened by a gang, why would you be a member of that same gang? It makes no fucking sense.
No, it doesn't.
So the Trump administration's assertion fails in that way. Secondly, the president of El Salvador's bullshit fails in this way. You are the fucking president of this country. While you are a fucking dictator, and I'm not gonna fucking mince words here, you're still the president and you have the power to release anyone you see fit. And I don't give 2 shits if you think he's a terrorist or whatever you think he is. It doesn't fucking matter. He was in the process of naturalization. He had children. He had a wife. He was green carded because he had a wife in America. He had children in America. And you're basically saying, oh, I don't care about him. He can do whatever. The problem that comes down to is that none of these people that are being sent to El Salvador are getting even a shred of a chance at any kind of due process. It is our constitutional right, everyone's constitutional right that is in this country, legally or illegally. The Constitution does not give a fuck. As long as you are a human being inside the United States, that fucking Constitution applies to you.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the right to redress your grievances with the government. You have the right to how many other things can I say? Oh, you have the right to due process and to be judged by a jury of your peers. It doesn't say your peers have to be a billionaire that resides in the White House. No. It's your peers that live in your area. The problem comes down to, Shirley, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me when I say this. The flaws in this are so apparent that me, someone who admittedly is not a fucking lawyer, I'm in no way a fucking lawyer. No.
I'm not either.
In no way. I'm not part of the I'm also not part of any legal thing, nothing, okay? I'm just a guy. But the fact that I know these be above and beyond what it seems the president does tells me that point blank, the president doesn't deserve his role. He does not deserve to be in the White House. Now, am I calling for someone to take care of him or anything like that? No. No. I want this to go the legal route because even though right now we have to do it with a Republican-led Congress, we have to somehow hold this man accountable. And not just accountable, but fucking responsible for tearing people's lives apart. This isn't even a joke. He's tearing people's lives apart.
I know. But he doesn't care.
No, he doesn't give two shits. And there's a reason he doesn't give a shit. Because he's earning money doing this. All he took the presidency for both times was to enrich himself. That's it.
Yep.
And what do you Sajo, I know you're in the chat. I'd like to hear what your thought is on that. Yeah, I know he's in the chat, but I gotta pull up.
Oh, that's fine. Let's see. Defund the U.S. Supreme Court. Yeah, that's a given. But then again, some people never learn anyway, right?
Yep, that's true.
It's kind of like...
I guess...
Oh, go ahead.
I guess my biggest issue with all of this is that Trump actually thinks that he's more important than the Supreme Court. This is why when a Democrat gets back in office, I'm pushing, this is my personal belief, but I personally think the U.S. Supreme Court should be made up to closely resemble the United States as a country in X number of people. So let me explain what I mean. Let's say we condense the entire 300 million population into, I'm just going to throw a random number out here just for argument's sake,
Okay.
into 15 people. Okay?
Okay.
I believe it should be mandated that that the Supreme Court, if you took the United States population and condensed it to those 15 people, it should look like a representation of the United States. So, party affiliation, religious preferences, color of skin, age range, all that. And I think the Supreme Court should no longer be lifetime, but have, how does 24-year max term allowance sound? So here's why. Because I'm thinking for the House, 6 terms, 12 years.
Yeah.
Senate, same amount of time, but 2 terms, because that's all it is.
Uh-huh.
But give the Supreme Court double that, 24 years.
Yeah.
And that way, we'll have more people coming in and out we'll have more people coming in and out of the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
B, it'll represent America more. And C, it just makes sense to make it look just like United States.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is my view, but I don't know what you think.
As far as I'm concerned, everybody in that administration needs to go. They're all stupid, terrible, and inhuman.
Well, I'd agree, but I'm just asking what your opinion is, personally, of what I said.
About the
Supreme Court, Court and term limits.
Yeah. There aren't even term limits for everybody, period. I think there should also be an age limit, too. Because, we've had people, what was it, that guy from Texas who passed away, he was 70 years old. So, but of course we've had people in their 80s and 90s in Congress and the Senate. So it's like, there needs to be an age limit. Stop at 70.
Fuck. Stop at the
regular price of 65.
What is normally considered retirement age?
65. Yeah, but then some people say, "Oh, that's ageism." I was like, no, that's a good opportunity to get some fresh ideas.
Exactly. It's not about ageism. What it is about, in my eyes, what it is about is trying to make our country represent the people it's actually supposed to fucking represent.
Yeah. Because one of the biggest problems is representatives and senators, for the most part. Not all of them. There are some who do the work. A lot of them don't do the work. Here's a perfect example. I like to call him Snobby Snubberville. Tommy Tuberville. He barely does anything. He held up, I think, over 300 nominations for different military positions, all because because he could because a lot of those states didn't have abortions be illegal. It's like, are you kidding me?
I personally think that I'm going to go one step even further, though.
Okay.
And I think you're going to like this.
Okay.
None of the representatives or senators should be getting paid unless they are on the floor or in their districts talking to the people.
Your constituents, yeah.
Exactly.
Because
No one.
Yeah, because think about this. Gabby Giffords, she was trying to do a simple meet and greet when she got shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
I
there are
agree.
there are members of Congress who do their best to connect with their constituents. Like Shamari Figures, our guy here, he has been around here. He's been talking to constituents. So
And while I may not like the man, I will say that Chuck Grassley does come and talk to constituents.
mm-hmm. Unfortunately, unfortunately, I think Grassley's been getting met kind of hostile territory, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, what is your opinion, Shirley,
About
of everything?
I mean, it's like every day I have to hear that man's voice, and it makes me sick.
Yeah. It makes me sick too.
It's like as soon as I start hearing that voice, like I've got to turn away from this.
Yeah, but there are so many people that say he's making America great. No. No, honey. I'm gonna go a level further.
Okay.
Which person said?
Donald Trump is not making America great again.
No, not by a
Donald
long
Trump.
shot.
Donald Trump's motto should not be making America great again. It should be making America racist again.
Or make America hate again.
I think Mara sounds better than Maha. Because, yeah, he is making Americans racist. People don't fucking care about anything.
Mm-hmm.
People don't care about their fellow man, woman, children, anything. And it's sickening.
Mm-hmm.
We were always a country of people that, while we may have our disagreements and our disputes, we could at least be respectable to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays,
you can't say anything without getting threatened.
yeah, I'm honestly expecting on this episode me to get threatened because, yeah, I just...
It's almost like you can't do anything, literally, without being threatened. Meteorologists get threatened when they interrupt the March Madness. Remember that?
Yeah. And that's another thing that pisses me off, but we're not going to talk about that today.
No.
I'm just going to say this. Trump and Musk and all the Republicans in office right now, and I'm speaking to all of them, unless you are willing to stand up for the world, for the country and the people here. As far as I'm fucking concerned, every single person every single person who is in the House and Senate right now and in the White House, let's just be very fucking blunt, need to experience something, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a perfect thing to experience.
What is it?
Life in prison.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. Did I say that? Because guess what? I meant every fucking word.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person who capitulates to this fucking wannabe king should be in prison for treason. Treason against the fucking Constitution.
Mm-hmm. But nope, as long as Trump's in power, they can get away with everything.
Mm-hmm. And it's sickening. Anyone else in the country that does that, anyone else, we'd be in prison.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
no.
no. If anything, I
No.
think Trump's defiance is energizing his base, right? They
And
can
that's
do
the
whatever
problem.
they want.
That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it energizes that base to make them seem great.
Like they're
Like
more,
true
they're
American.
more important than anything.
But when then you have people who disagree. Oh, wait, that's a First Amendment right. I'm allowed to disagree. So if anyone has a fucking problem with me disagreeing,
Mm-hmm.
kiss the whitest part of my fat fucking ass.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't care. Honestly, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, same with me because it's like you go, you look, you like him fine, but I don't like him at all, and I have a right to say why I don't like him.
Who, me?
No, no, me. Like if someone,
Do you want to say why you don't like him?
why I don't like Trump? Yeah, he's arrogant. He's egotistical. He's delusional. He's dangerous.
And that just barely scratches the surface.
Yeah.
My reasons for hating the man are many and varied, but the biggest one is that under his leadership, this country has changed. In less than 3 months, I feel more afraid than I ever have in my life to be someone who I feel more afraid to be someone who disagrees
Mm-hmm.
with the people in power than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean I'm going to change my fucking stance? Hell no.
Mm-mm.
Hell no. I see this country in just 3 months' time. People in this country have gotten to the point where most of them that are followers of this man
Mm-hmm.
have forgotten the Constitution. Let me give you an example, a perfect example. So, during the hands-off protest, I was in that protest for our city. I loved every second of it.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. Because it was fun. It was fun to be around so many people that had like opinions to me and didn't give a shit what anyone else said. Until we had a Trump fan who decided it was a great idea to drive past us 6 to 8 times, flipping us off, treating us like shit, and basically not understanding that we were standing for democracy, not that we were standing against them, because, it doesn't matter if I'm standing against them or not. It's that I'm standing for democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm always going to fucking stand for.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I'm sorry, but at this moment, our democracy is in danger.
Yeah, it is.
And anyone who says, oh no, it's not in danger, no one's going to take away your right. No, that's exactly what fucking Trump said he wanted to do.
Yep.
He said, and I'm not going to quote it exactly, so please understand I'm taking some liberties with saying this, but he basically said, oh, I just need your vote one more time. After that, we won't even vote anymore. What? That's a defining part of being American.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of this, there's this new law coming into effect probably that will make it so that people whose name doesn't match their birth certificate won't be able to vote. So guess what that does?
That's going to disenfranchise about half the country or more.
Well, not only just that, but surely it does worse than that. Every woman who's found someone that they love and wants to stay with and decided to change their name to match their husband has effectively lost their right to vote.
Yeah. There's just one problem with that, though. To do that, they've got to make a constitutional amendment.
Yeah, but do you think the Trump administration cares?
No.
My point is still there. Every fucking time that Republicans get in office, and I'm sorry to say it like this, but every fucking time lately that Republicans have gotten into power, they have fucking stripped more rights from citizens. And I'm sorry, I won't stand for that. That's one of the reasons why Beyond the Airwaves exists, is because we're not here to fucking strip your rights. We're here to stand up for your rights. Every day. Every day we do this show, we're standing up for you as an American citizen, your right to do what you choose, to be who you choose, to be able to vote however you see fit.
Yeah.
Okay? Beyond the Airwaves has always and will always be a bastion of our rights. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry. But if you don't like your rights, then I got a little bit of news for you. You don't deserve to be an American. I'm sorry if you think that's rude or disrespectful of me to say, but I'm going to repeat it because it is my true opinion. If you don't think that your rights should be protected at all costs, even above the fucking view of the President of the United States, then you know what? You don't fucking deserve your fucking rights.
I'll be back in a second. I gotta blow my nose. It's beginning to run again.
Would you agree with me on that? Well, actually, she just stepped away, so I'll just say this. I'm so sick and tired of it. I really am.
I think we all are.
Sorry about that. I had to blow my
Although-
nose. My nose is starting to run again.
I get that I get what you're saying, honey. But my point being in saying this, I'm not trying to attack randomly or yell at people or tell people that they're wrong because I'm some bastion of good. The only reason that I'm saying these things is because I'm sick and fucking tired of sitting by and watching our country that is, as of next year, 250 years old. I'm sick of seeing all the rights that we have fought so hard to give to people in this country be seen as suggestions and not requirements. I am so sick and fucking tired
So am
of
I.
it. And that is why one of the reasons why Beyond Rail Waves exists. Is because we are exercising our rights.
Yeah.
Every citizen has the right to be a fucking journalist. There isn't a fucking press pass that you need. No one needs a fucking press pass. Your press pass is the First fucking Amendment. What do you get? What do you think, Shirley?
I feel like, let's see. Saja said, I think we're going into a constitutional crisis. Oh, we've been in a constitutional crisis for a little bit.
Since the day Trump took that took the oath of office without his fucking hand on the goddamn Bible.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just end tonight's episode a little early because I can tell you're tired.
Yeah, I do apologize. I'm just uber sleepy, but I'll just say this right now. Unless I'm gonna hope and pray that come 2028, we'll have somebody who can easily outdo Trump, and maybe starting with next year, because of course it's the midterms next year. Hopefully, we can have a nice little shift in the scenery. If you get my drift.
Oh, I do.
Because, yeah, now I should say this. Someone has announced that he's going to run against Tommy Tuberville in 2026, because that'll be 2026 is the end of Tuberville's first term. But I just hope the person running, I think it seems like Kyle Sweetser or something like that. But I hope he wins. But this may be the one thing that might hold him back. The guy was a 2-time Trump voter. That could be the deciding factor. He may not get in, you know?
Yeah.
So. Alright, so changing subjects real quick. Thursday night, I figured out what I'm gonna do for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. I'm gonna tackle that 5th bingo card the entire time. Because I've done 4. This is the 5th one. Is the last one. It's like, and the deadline's not till Easter Sunday. So it's like, that's it. That's what I'm gonna do the whole time. I'm gonna do Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links and do the entire bingo card. So that's the plan. And then of course on Friday we do another bit of trivia nights. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and play the ending. So bear with me, growl. Alright, so with that in mind, I am going to say love, peace, and chicken grease. Everybody have a great night. Sleep well, stay safe, and I'll see you Thursday for.
Hold on.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Alright.
hold on when you say your stuff because
Okay.
I'm gonna say, and remember, I
Uh,
want everyone to remember these words.
Okay, hang on. So,
Democracy dies when no one speaks up. So, if you agree with what I've been saying today, speak your mind. Get yourself a platform and say it.
mm-hmm.
Because I'm sorry, this is the time where we as a country need to stand up and say, no kings.
Yeah.
Go ahead and finish.
Alright, so anyway, love, peace, and chicken grease. Everyone have a great night. Sleep well, stay safe. I'll see you Thursday for doodling.